I'm gonna do that, doesn't matter.
I'm just gonna let you come in.
Judge, come in.
Okay.
All rise for the pretrial motion
Judge Lawrence.
for the Honorable Judge Lawrence D. Green.
Thank you. All right, be seated, come to work. All right, so I'm Judge Graham. I'm here presiding over this matter today, the State versus Concha. It's a murder trial. The defendant is charged with two different counts, one of second-degree murder and the other count of possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell or deliver. All right, so I understand that there's a pretrial motion that's been filed by the defense. And in these pretrial motions, the burden's always on the state. So I'll hear first from the state, and then I'll hear from the defendant. And that may be a little bit different from what you were expecting, but that's the way it works, okay? All right, so anything from the state on the motion to suppress evidence gleaned from a search?
Yes, Your Honor. In People v. Concha, Officer Doherty conducted a search of a defendant's vehicle in an A-frame market parking lot while he was off duty. The issue before the court is whether this search violated Concha's Fourth Amendment right or not. The state argues that in light of plain view exception and use of flashlight by law enforcement, the Fourth Amendment was not violated. Everything in the car that was observed was within plain view, and the light barely entered the car. The window was rolled down. Everything was within plain view. He never entered the car, therefore did not violate his Fourth Amendment right.
All right, very good. All right, so does the defendant want to be heard on the motion to suppress?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to argue that when he searched the vehicle in the parking lot, he stepped on the tire on the passenger side of the vehicle, positioning himself in about the middle of the hood of the vehicle so he could see further into the windshield and look at a backpack which he viewed from the side window when he shined his flashlight through the cracked window on the side, which was down about 2 inches. He saw that, and so he moved around to the side, stepped up on the tire, and pulled himself over the front of the car and looked in the windshield.
All right, very good. All right. Well, based on the evidence and the record, I think this is a close case in terms of the motion to suppress. Our law about evidence that's in plain view has been litigated over the decades. And this is a particularly close case. It's fact specific. I know the defense contends that the officer went beyond what he should have done in terms of looking in the vehicle. And he did take a few rather extraordinary steps, but the law is fairly clear that things that are left in your vehicle that are in plain view of any type of situation, there's no expectation of privacy in that. The state argues that the plain view exception controls here, and I agree with it. All right, so I'm going to deny your motion to suppress the search and the fruits of that search. All right? All right, so now we're ready for the actual trial. Is that correct? Any other motions from either party?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very good. All right, if you'll bring the jury in, please. Let me just introduce myself. I'm Judge Graham. I'm one of your district court judges here. I'll be presiding over this case today, the state of North Carolina versus Concha. This is, I'm going to ask the attorney for the state or the attorney to stand up and introduce himself.
I'm Coble Hartman. I'm representing the state.
Coble Hartman, okay, very good. And the defense attorney, if you'll stand up.
I'm Mason James representing Ray Concha.
All right, very good. All right, so we've heard one preliminary motion. I made my ruling in that matter. Now we're going to begin the trial process. We'll begin with the parties, the opening arguments of the parties' lawyers, and we'll start with the state. Does the state wish to make an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hartman, the jury's with you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today we gather here to seek justice for the tragic and senseless death of Jason Johnson, a promising young student whose life was abruptly ended due to the malicious actions of the defendant, Ray Concha. The evidence we will present throughout this trial will demonstrate Ray's culpability in Jason's ultimate demise, as well as their involvement in the illegal distribution of a controlled substance. Ray Concha stands before you facing two grave charges. Firstly, they are charged with second-degree murder, an offense that entails the unlawful killing of another human with malice aforethought. The evidence we will present will establish that Ray's actions were not mere accidents or mistakes, but a deliberate and callous disregard for human life. Their illicit activities and involvement in drug dealing directly contributed to Jason's tragic death, making them responsible for this heinous crime. Additionally, Ray Concha faces a charge of possession with the intent to sell a controlled substance, specifically Adderall. This powerful prescription medication, intended for the treatment of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, became a tool in Ray's hand for illicit profiteering. Through their position as band manager and their access to Adderall, Ray exploited Jason and others, jeopardizing their mental health and well-being for personal gain. Our case will rest upon the testimony of credible witnesses who will shed light on the troubling dynamics between Ray and Jason. Principal McAllister, our first witness, will provide firsthand accounts of the defendant's involvement in drug-related activities, as well as their interactions with Jason. Principal McAllister's testimony will unveil a pattern of suspicious behavior, reports and concerned students, and confrontations regarding the defendant's alleged drug dealing on school premises. Furthermore, we will present the expert testimony of Dr. Sanchez, a renowned pathologist, who will enlighten us on the potential dangers of Adderall abuse, particularly when combined with an existing heart condition. Dr. Sanchez's findings will reveal the devastating consequences of Ray's actions, highlighting the direct link between the drug provided by the defendant and the exacerbation of Jason's heart condition, ultimately leading to his death. Throughout this trial, we will meticulously piece together the evidence, constructing a compelling narrative that unveils Ray Concha's culpability beyond a reasonable doubt. The evidence will demonstrate their motive, means, and opportunity to engage in drug dealing, as well as their intimate knowledge of Jason's vulnerability due to his congenital heart defect. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we bear a grave responsibility today to seek justice for Jason Johnson, a young life extinguished before its time, and to hold Ray Concha accountable for their heinous actions. I implore you to listen attentively and to the evidence presented, carefully consider the testimonies of our witnesses, and deliver a verdict that reflects the truth and upholds the principles of justice. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. James, you wish to address the jury in your opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to start off by saying Ray Concha is a wonderful student at Rosewood High, was a wonderful student at Rosewood High School, and the allegations against her today are simply out of context and not true. First of all, I would like to point out that one of her friends, Alex, that you'll hear testimony from today, simply has plenty of, plenty of motive and plenty of background and access to frame Ray. And I just want to point out to you today that if you listen closely to those testimonies, I think you'll see that there are some inconsistencies in the stories of the witnesses. And I want you to realize from the testimony from the two doctors that Jason Johnson had a heart condition that from his abuse and use of alcohol could have caused his death, not the use and abuse of Adderall. And I want you to realize today that Ray Concha is innocent, and I want you to please think about those witness statements and think about everything you hear today and take that into account.
All right, thank you very much. We'll begin with the state. Call your first witness.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Principal Riley McAllister to the stand.
All right.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, have a seat, please. All right, now, counsel, you'll need to remain seated when you're asking the question.
Okay.
I know that in some states, they allow the lawyers to stand up and wander around, but in North Carolina, we don't allow that, okay?
Mr. McAllister, please state your name and occupation for the record.
I'm Riley McAllister. I'm the principal of Rosewood High.
Can you tell me a little bit about Rosewood High?
We have about 4,000 students, and we're very proud of our extracurricular and academic programs.
How close would you say you are with your 4,000 students?
I'd say I remain pretty close.
Do you have any
Close,
examples?
I meet with every new student that comes in for the first time.
Now, there's a drug problem at your school, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Were there any particular areas of interest at the school regarding the drug problem?
The marching band.
The marching band in particular.
Yes.
Did you notice any specific concerns about drug abuse within the band community prior to the events surrounding Jason Johnson's death?
No, just typical behavior issues.
So then someone made you aware of the potential drug problem coming from the marching band.
That is correct.
Now, based on your experience as the principal of Rosewood High, have you observed any concerning behavior or disciplinary issues among the band members?
Yes, I have seen them coming late to class, standing around in the hallways when they shouldn't be, and I have seen them in detention.
Can you recall any instances where you addressed the issue of drug abuse with band members directly?
Yes, I spoke to them as a group on the issues of drug abuse.
And Mr. McAllister, have you done anything to combat the issue of drug abuse at your school?
Yes, I took a professional development course over the summer to educate myself on drug issues, but also I reached out to the local police department for help from Officer Doherty.
Can you expand upon that, your interactions with Officer Doherty in the initial stages of getting acquainted?
We met in late January to go over some of the details of what was going on in the school. And then in early February, February 4th, I believe, he came in and was enrolled under the alias Sam Shumway.
I see. What led to the eventual arrest of Ray Concha at Rosewood?
Student Alex felt compelled to come forward about the issues.
Now, Mr. McAllister, did you authorize the eventual search of Ray Concha's car based on information provided by Alex?
Yes.
And actually, before I say this question, Your Honor, I'd like to present Exhibits A and B to the court, into evidence is what I meant to say. Excuse me.
All right, first of all, hand those to the defendant. They have a chance, first of all, actually hand that to the defendant and her attorney. They have a chance first to look at it. All right, do you have any objections to that?
No, sir.
All right,
No,
we'll
Your
hand
Honor.
that to the witness. All right, and you can approach the witness now if you'd like and ask him about the questions.
Okay.
You choose to do that?
There's no need for me to at this moment. As you can see, Mr. McAllister, there are two images there, Exhibits A and B. You'll see one image of a backpack found in Ray Concha's car, accompanied with a jacket, and you'll see several prescription bottles and baggies containing small pills. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, Mr. McAllister, can you confirm during the search that the backpacks and the bottles of pills found in Ray Concha's car, as seen in Exhibits A and B, were discovered during the authorized search on the school grounds?
Yes, that is correct.
Can you confirm that these pills were identified as Adderall?
Yes.
Did Ray Concha deny ownership of the backpack when when asked by Officer Doherty during the search?
Yes, he did.
And Mr. McAllister, based on the information that you had at the time, did you believe there was probable cause to arrest Ray Concha?
Yes, I would say there was.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, now the defense has a chance to question the witness. Any cross-examination of this witness?
Yes, Your Honor. So you were aware there was a drug problem at the high school.
Yes, that is correct.
Did you suspect any of your students to be taking drugs?
Not any in particular, no.
Did you know that Ray Concha had a prescription for Adderall?
No, I did not.
Did you know that Jason Johnson had a heart condition?
No, I did not.
Did you know anything about your school?
Objection argumentative.
Well sustained.
That was an inside joke, by the way. Okay, So you did know about Officer Doherty.
Yes,
You assigned the officer.
yes,
Okay, and why did you do that?
because I had heard from the vice principal that there was drug issues.
Okay. And when you authorized the search of Ray Concha's car in the school parking lot, why did you go solely off of what one person said? Alex. Being Alex.
Because it seemed to me that that information was relevant at the time.
So you think that from one high school student that you could have enough cause to go search someone's car just for what one person said?
I'd say so, yes.
Okay. And did you suspected the band program to be the source of the drugs?
Yes, again, from the vice principal, I had heard of quote-unquote smart pills in the band.
Okay. No further questions.
All right, redirect. Any other questions of this witness from the state?
Mr. McAllister, did anyone else approach you after Jason's death and provide information regarding a potential, the potential drug dealer being Ray Concha? Did you receive any information from anyone other than Alex Weaver?
I suppose I did from Officer Doherty.
And how reliable do you think the claims between Alex Weaver and Officer Doherty were?
I would say that combined they were pretty trustworthy.
How much evidence did they put forward to support their claims against Ray?
Quite a good bit.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
All right. Any other cross-examination?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very well. Thank you. You can step down. All right. Any other witnesses for the state?
Yes, Your Honor. The prosecution would like to call Officer Robin Doherty to the stand.
All right.
You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I did.
Can you please state your full name and occupation for the court?
My name is Robin Doherty, and I'm a police officer for Rosewood County.
What was your duty at Rosewood High?
I was assigned to investigate the drug issue there at Rosewood High.
Do you have any qualifications that aided you in your investigation at Rosewood High?
In addition to my degree in law, I also have extensive training in the recognition of drugs and the sale of drugs.
So you'd say you were pretty qualified in this field.
Yes.
Did you participate in any programs at the school while you were enrolled as Sam Shumway?
Yes, I did. I participated in the marching band. One reason being because I had a previous experience as a drummer, and also because I had suspicions from the principal, who had got from the vice principal, that there was an issue concerning the marching band.
I see. During your time at the school, did you form any relationships and interact with students?
Yes, I did, for the purpose of what I was assigned for.
Now, in your witness statement, you mentioned that you had suspicions regarding Ray Concha's involvement in drug dealing. Can you explain what led to form these suspicions?
Well, over the time of my interactions with her through conversations and comments that she'd made, it became aware to me that she did have a prescription for Adderall, and that she used the slang term Addy, which was like a street term for Adderall, and she mentioned to me, hinting that she had a hookup for that kind of stuff if I wanted it.
I see. And so did this suspicion of Ray Concha, this was developed before or after Jason's death?
Before.
Before. Did you notice anything about Ray in particular on a day-to-day basis that would have led you to suspect her even more?
There was nothing out of the ordinary other than that she always had the same blue backpack with her no matter where she went.
No matter where she went? Okay. Now, did you observe any particular interactions between Ray and any other students that led to further suspicion?
From Alex, I had heard that she was seen in the parking lot shaking hands with Jason Johnson and handing him pills.
I see. Why do you believe in your expertise that this is significant?
Well, it's a common form of transaction of drug sales for money or pills to be handed under the form of a handshake to make things seem formal.
I see. Can I ask where you were, what were your whereabouts on the night of February 22nd? Do you recall?
I was at the A-Frame Market in Diamond Heights, which is in my hometown.
As in your hometown. I see. Now, you previously testified that you witnessed Ray in the same A-frame at the same time you were shopping. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did anything stand out to you about Ray being there?
She was walking towards me with a shopping cart, and in the shopping cart, there were several big boxes of Ziploc bags, and 4 or 5 of those boxes were sandwich-sized Ziploc bags, and it seemed almost as if she was buying Ziploc bags in bulk.
I see. Was it strange for you to see Ray at this store?
It was, because Diamond Heights is a town away from Rosewood, and it would seem as if she was trying to avoid being noticed or recognized by other people.
I see. You also mentioned seeing a green Buick SUV with tinted windows belonging to Ray Concha in the A-frame market parking lot. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you have any reason to believe that this vehicle was connected to Ray?
I did. It was the same vehicle that I'd seen Ray before with on school campus, and it had the same license plate number, which was YEZ 600.
So you'd say you were completely confident that was Ray's vehicle?
Yes.
And so then you proceeded to lawfully observe the exterior and interior of the vehicle. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what did you see as you were observing the vehicle?
The main thing that caught my eye is that there was a backpack the same as the one I had always seen her with, and there was a jacket covered over it, almost as if to conceal it. And underneath the backpack, there was a roll of bills with a $20 bill on the top that I could tell. There was an open notebook that seemed as if it was a ledger of some sort, like to keep track of transactions or anything like that. And there was also one sandwich-sized Ziploc bag that had 5 pills in it.
And this was all within your plain view, correct?
Yes.
Now, later on the school grounds, when Principal McAllister asked you to search the car, did you find any evidence or items that would link Ray to drug possession or drug sales?
Yes, I found the same backpack with the jacket over it, and I also found a notebook, but it was a clean notebook, and there was probably a dozen Ziploc bags, and half of those Ziploc bags, maybe 6 of them, had 5 pills each in them, and in addition to that, there was also a roll of bills.
I see. So it was the same jacket accompanied by the same backpack that you testified as seeing in the A-frame market parking lot?
Yes.
Okay. So based on your training and expertise, can you explain the significance in finding these contents in Ray's car?
Well, the style of organization of the pills in the bags would seem very indicative of that of someone who is selling drugs and distributing to other people.
Can you explain the significance of finding the same bag in the car? The same book bag in the car?
It was the same book bag that I had seen at the A-frame in the parking lot. And when we brought Ray out to the car, once we had searched it, she did not have her book bag with her. And she had spontaneously exclaimed, "Oh no," when she saw it.
I see. Is there any possibility in your mind that this bag could have belonged to someone else?
No.
And finally, did you send the pills you found in Ray Concha's car to the lab for analysis?
Yes.
And were they confirmed to be Adderall?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, cross-exam.
So, at the school, did you ever suspect any of the students to be on Adderall or to be taking drugs when you first got there?
I was assuming yes.
Okay. And did you know of Jason Johnson's heart condition?
Yes.
Did you know that Jason Johnson consumed alcohol?
Yes.
Did you know that Jason Johnson took Adderall without a prescription?
Yes.
Were you aware that Ray Concha had a prescription for Adderall?
Yes.
Did you ever notice any strange behavior from Alex Weaver?
None that I can bring to mind.
Did you ever notice strange behavior from Jason Johnson?
He didn't seem well sometimes, but other than that, no.
So when you were at the store and you saw Ray purchasing the bags, did you know that she worked for a nonprofit organization?
No.
Well, in that nonprofit organization, she purchases bags for something she does there. Is there any possibility that those bags could have been for that?
There is a possibility.
And when you searched the car, or when you looked in the car and saw the backpack, had you seen Ray with that backpack before?
Yes.
Had you seen anyone else with a similar backpack?
With Alex Weaver, she had previously had a backpack that was of similar style, but later on in early March, she no longer had that backpack.
Okay. But Alex Weaver did have a similar backpack at one time?
At one point, yes.
Okay. No further questions, thank you.
All right, redirect.
I have no questions. I have no questions, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. All right, any other evidence from the state?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to call Dr. Ricky Sanchez to the stand.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, you'll have a seat, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, the witness is with the state.
Dr. Sanchez, please say your full name and occupation for the court.
Dr. Ricky Sanchez, I am the Chief Medical Coroner for Rosewood County.
Can you please state your qualifications for the court?
Yes, I got my bachelor's and medical degree from the University of San Francisco. I have been a licensed pathologist for 20 years. I worked with St. Joseph's Hospital for 6 years. 8 years ago, I was assigned as the Chief Medical Examiner for Rosewood County, and 5 years ago, I was appointed as the Deputy Examiner.
So you've had a pretty esteemed career.
Yes.
And you performed the autopsy on Jason, is that correct?
Yes.
Did Jason have a prescription for Adderall?
No.
He did not. Can you please supply the court with the details of Jason's heart condition?
He had hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is a congenital heart defect which thickens the heart muscles and obstructs blood flow.
Okay. Dr. Sanchez, based on your experience as a chief medical examiner, can you explain the potential dangers and side effects of Adderall?
Yes. So Adderall is an amphetamine and a dextroamphetamine. So there are several symptoms that can happen, like a rapid irregular heartbeat, elevated blood pressure, damage to heart tissue, stress, sudden death, problems of heart complications, tremors, problems in the cardiovascular and neurological systems, seizures, and psychosis.
And can these effects of Adderall be exacerbated in individuals with a pre-existing heart condition like hypertrophic cardiomyopathy?
Yes.
Now, according to your analysis of the blood tests conducted on Jason Johnson, what concentration of Adderall was found in his system?
He had 40 milligrams of Adderall within 10 hours of the report.
And how does that concentration compare to the typical therapeutic dose of Adderall?
So the typical therapeutic dose is 20, but it can range up to 60. While his dose was not lethal, with somebody of his condition, it could cause side effects.
I see. Now, in your professional opinion, was the presence of Adderall in his system within 10 hours of his death a significant factor in his sudden cardiac arrest?
Yes.
In your expert opinion, doctor, what role did alcohol consumption play in Jason Johnson's cardiac arrest?
While alcohol in high levels can contribute and accelerate the effects of Adderall, his blood alcohol content report showed that he only had 0.05 BAC, which would cause slight impairment but would not make it detrimental or add to the effects of Adderall and his condition.
I see. Considering the severity of Jason Johnson's hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, would you attribute his sudden cardiac arrest more to his congenital heart defect and alcohol consumption?
No.
So what factor would you say contributed the most to his cardiac arrest?
In my professional opinion, the Adderall in his system caused him to have a cardiovasospasm, which in turn created him to have cardioarrhythmia and irregular heartbeat, which would have caused the slowing and sudden stop of his heart.
I see. Now, considering your extensive experience and expertise in forensic pathology, what do you believe to be the cause of Jason's death?
As I stated previously, the Adderall in his system would have accelerated his congenital heart condition, which would cause it a cardiovasospasm, which restricts the blood flow in the heart, creating arrhythmia, an irregular heartbeat, and that would have caused the slowing and stopping of his heart.
So once again, you believe Adderall is the primary contributing factor to his sudden cardiac arrest?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, cross-exam.
Were you aware that Jason Johnson's heart condition was advanced?
Yes.
Were you aware that he was scheduled to have a surgery to repair that?
No.
In your opinion, would alcohol be detrimental to that advanced stage of that heart condition?
Yes, but with the amount he had taken, it would have not caused...
Would you say alcohol would be detrimental to the condition?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, the witness can explain his answer. We finished?
As I was stating, Your Honor, the alcohol content in the system would have not have provided enough to cause that. But going back to his question, yes, alcohol could cause problems.
All right, very well. Any other questions? All right, any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor, one question, or maybe a couple depending on how this is answered. So you do believe that alcohol could have had an effect on his advanced heart condition?
Yes.
However, you performed the autopsy, correct?
Yes.
And it is in your opinion that based off of his blood alcohol content, Adderall had more of a contributing factor to his cardiac arrest than alcohol did?
Yes.
So although alcohol may be a contributing factor for some people with that advanced of a heart defect, it wasn't that case. It wasn't the case, and this wasn't the case for Jason Johnson, was it?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, recross.
Were there any other irregularities you noticed when you did the autopsy?
No.
Thank you. No further questions.
Anything else? All right, you're free to step down. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, any other evidence from the state?
Yes, I'd like to call Alex Weaver to the stand.
All right, very well. All right, if you'll stand up, please, and be sworn.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, you sit down. All right, the witness is with the state.
Ms. Weaver, can you please state your full name and where you attended school for the court?
Alex Weaver, and graduate of Rosewood High School.
Can you confirm that you were a member of the band Double Trouble along with Jason Johnson and Ray Concha?
Yes.
How would you describe your relationship with Jason and Ray?
We were good friends.
Did you notice any changes in Jason and Ray's behavior or dynamics leading up to Jason's death?
Jason started showing less interest in wanting to, I guess, practice with the band, Double Trouble. And Ray started showing more interest in Jason's social life.
Would you say Ray was attempting to control more of Jason's social life? Or he was more just omnipresent in Jason's social life?
Kind of just wanted to hang out with him more often.
Okay. How did you feel about Jason's lack of band dedication?
It made me sad because we made the band together.
Can you recall any instances of Jason skipping on his band duties?
Yes, on February 16th, he went to a concert with Ray instead of coming to a gig with our band.
I see. How did that night take place?
Well, I got upset with Jason because he kept skipping out on our practices and our gigs, and so we had an argument, but Ray then told me to calm down because he was just trying to have fun.
I see. Now, how did that night end for all of you?
So I didn't see them for the rest of the night.
Okay. Can you explain the role of Ray as the band's manager?
She would sell T-shirts and things like that to other students at the school or at parties or at our gigs.
So you were all profiting from the band?
Well, yes, but she said that she was banking the money because she wanted to use it to get our vinyl, but I never saw any of that money.
So Ray was making it clear to you and Jason that you were receiving cash from the band?
Yes.
But you never saw any of it?
Yes.
Okay. So can you confirm that you had questioned Ray's trustworthiness and management before the drug problem at the school had even been in investigation?
Yes.
Did you discuss your concerns about Jason's drug use with anyone?
Yeah, I talked to Ray and Sam about it.
You talked to Ray and Sam about it?
Yeah. I heard Ray say that Jason was taking an Addy.
Okay. And when you talked to Ray about Jason's drug problems, what specifically did you mention about Jason?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sure. When you were speaking to Ray about Jason's drug problem, what specifically did you mention to Ray about Jason?
That he was taking Adderall.
That he was taking Adderall. And how did Ray react?
She asked Sam if he was into that stuff.
I see. Did you know about Jason's heart defect?
Not until he told me and Ray.
He told you and Ray at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember when this was?
This was a little after he had passed out at the concert and came back to school.
So around the same time that Jason and Ray were hanging out all the time, and you started to see less and less of him.
Yes.
Okay. Why did Jason decide to tell you and Ray about his heart defect?
He was having a surgery in later March that was scheduled, and he wanted to stop taking so many drugs.
Okay. So I'm assuming he returned to normal after that?
Not really. I mean, they started still hanging out the same and things like that. I didn't see him much.
Okay. Did Jason ever confess to you where he was getting Adderall from?
Jason told me that Ray was selling him Adderall.
Okay. So after that point of Jason saying he wanted to get better, did you, did you notice any further changes? Did he ever get worse or did he ever get better?
Well, he just kind of stopped showing up to band practices and things like that, both him and Ray.
So would you say that the band was like officially over by that point?
No, it wasn't over. We still had another gig.
So you did have another gig?
Yeah.
Okay. How did Jason seem during that gig?
He looked kind of normal until before the gigs. Yeah, he looked pretty normal until the gig started.
And what happened before the gig that made him not seem so normal?
Well, beforehand, I had seen him and Ray shake hands and then like talk for a second, but then they went up on stage.
Okay.
Jason went up on stage.
And did you notice any changes while Jason was on stage?
Yeah, he started sweating a lot and just seemed really nervous.
Okay. Did you ever see Adderall on Jason that night?
Yeah, Jason actually handed me a pill and said, "It's a little smart pill, try it."
Do you know where he got that pill from?
Well, since him and Ray shook hands before the gig started, I would say that it was probably Ray.
Okay. Now, you mentioned in your statement that you witnessed a conversation between Ray and Jason by the SUV on the morning of March 27th, correct?
Yes.
The day that he passed away.
Yes.
Can you describe what you saw and what made it seem so suspicious to you?
Yeah, the tailgate was open and they shook hands again, which seemed really odd. And then later that day, I found out that Jason died.
So they were standing at the tailgate of his SUV,
Yes.
where his bag and prescription bottles and baggies of Adderall were found.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever communicate your suspicions about this interaction to anyone after Jason's collapse in band practice?
Yeah, after everything happened, I went to Principal McAllister because about Ray selling the drugs out of the tailgate.
Okay. What made you decide to come forward by that point?
Well, after Jason's death, I felt like it was occurring too many times, like before he died, obviously.
You wanted to do something about it?
Yes.
Okay. Did you provide any specific details or evidence to support your allegations against Ray when you told Principal McAllister?
Well, I don't remember.
Okay. How did Principal McAllister and Officer Doherty respond to your disclosure?
They ended up searching Ray's car.
Okay. Now, was the bag that was found in the back of Ray's car match the description of a book bag you used to own?
Yes, but the zipper broke in early March, and I had thrown it away.
Early March, you said?
Yes.
So the interactions between Ray and Jason when they were hanging out a lot began before or after you lost your bag?
Before.
Okay. So you can confirm that there's no way, in fact, that could be your bag?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, cross-exam.
All right. So why did you end up transferring to Rosewood High School, or what led up to you coming to that school?
I played a harmless prank at my old school that ended up getting me expelled.
Okay, and you said at one point you did have a blue backpack.
Yes.
And it had a broken zipper.
Mhm.
Okay, so would you take a look at Exhibit A? How do I, okay. Yeah.
Bailiff, if you'll hand this to the state, they have a right to review it first.
Okay.
All right. All right, now if you can present it to the witness, please. No, to the witness, I'm sorry. But the witness, they see it first. That's all right. You're good.
Okay, so looking at that picture, can I show where I'm talking about? So looking at that picture, could you say on this large zipper pouch, there's a missing zipper right here? There's one zipper missing from it. One of the zipper pulls.
Yeah.
There's one here, but there's not one here. Okay, so you would say that there is a missing zipper on that backpack?
Well, right here, it kind of looks like the same pattern that is on these, to me at least.
Okay, so besides that, have you ever taken Adderall?
I did at the concert where Jason wasn't feeling too good because he said try it, and unfortunately I did, but I'll never.
Have you ever asked for Adderall?
No.
Okay. So, when you were excused from band class multiple times throughout the class, where did you go during that time?
I don't remember.
Okay. Have you ever rode in Ray Concha's car?
Yeah, she would give me rides to gigs and things because I had to fit my band or my drum kit.
Okay, so looking back at Exhibit A, would you say that that's a drumstick in that bag?
It might be, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And going back to in band class, how did it make you feel that Ray got the position of the lead drummer in the marching band over you?
I was a little jealous.
Would you say you were mad, maybe even upset?
No, just jealous. I thought I was a good drummer too.
Okay. So would that maybe have caused you to have a grudge against Ray?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, and can you describe what you told the principal about Ray?
When?
When she, what do you mean when?
Is that an objection?
I suppose it is. Objection.
Well, when she talked to the principal, what did you say about Ray? How did you describe what you saw?
I told him that the tailgate was open and they were talking and shook hands before.
Okay, during that time, did you see this book bag in the back of the car?
I don't remember.
Did you see plastic bags?
I don't remember.
Did you see any pills?
I didn't see the contents inside of the car. I just saw them at the car.
Did you see any money involved in the transaction? Or the interaction, sorry.
I just saw the handshake.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
All right, redirect.
May I ask what prank did you pull that got you expelled?
I replaced the sugar with salt, and the teachers, parents, and students were not very happy about that.
So you would say that's, relatively harmless.
Yeah.
And did you experience any, I'm not sure the right word I'm looking for here, but any, when you came to your new school, you found it as a new opportunity?
Yes.
Okay. So regarding Exhibit A, is it?
Yes.
And the drumstick in the bag. Ray was the manager of the band, correct?
Yes.
So is it safe to say that on multiple occasions Ray had extra equipment for everyone in the band?
More than likely.
More than likely.
Ray was also a drummer herself.
Ray was also a drummer.
Yes.
Yes. So it's safe to assume she owned a drumstick.
But yeah.
Is it true that that Ray pushed you in the band to become a better drummer?
She critiqued my drumming whenever we would practice for the Double Trouble band.
And you found this helpful?
Kind of, but not necessarily.
So when Ray got the drummer position over you, did it make you want to work harder and become a better drummer?
I don't remember.
So you would say you did feel jealous,
Yes.
but Ray would also continuously coach you outside of school and in your band
Yes.
to become a better drummer.
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, any other cross-exam?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very good. You can step down, thank you.
With that, the prosecution rests, Your Honor.
All right, very well. All right, so now it's the point in the trial where the defense can present evidence. Do you wish to be presenting the evidence on behalf of Mr. Concha? Ms. Concha? Yes,
That's
the
all.
witnesses you want to call?
Oh, yes, Your Honor. Sorry.
All right,
I'd like-
call your first witness.
Okay, I'd like to call Dale Piper to the stand.
All right, you come over here and be sworn, please.
You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I did.
All right.
Could you please state your name and your occupation?
My name is Dale Piper, and I'm the leader of the nonprofit organization Achieve.
Could you state your relationship to Ray Concha?
I've known her for about a year. She volunteers at my nonprofit.
Okay, and what does she do with the nonprofit?
Well, she answers phones, she does peer counseling, she moves boxes, sorts through different donations, and she also does some supplies and things like that for our takeout days.
Okay, could any of the supplies have been plastic bags?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ever send Ray, or did Ray ever go pick up any of those supplies?
Possibly, yes.
Okay. Could you describe her character, please?
She was very helpful, always wanted to do more than she was asked to do. She was very thoughtful and also very caring toward her peers.
Did you ever think that she could have been under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No.
And would you be surprised to say that she was accused of selling drugs or of murder?
I'd be shocked to be that she was accused of doing anything illegal.
All right, cross-exam.
Miss Piper, as you just mentioned, you described Ray as a thoughtful and caring individual. However, given the nature of your work and services provided by Achieve, are you always aware of the personal lives and behaviors of every volunteer?
Not always.
Okay. While you describe Ray as a thoughtful and caring individual, isn't it possible that people can present different faces to different individuals or organizations?
Objection. Is that not a leading question?
Sustain.
Miss Piper, what would you say the general size of the takeout bags you provide is?
They were normally larger because they had to be able to fit personal care items and food items.
So you wouldn't say they're typically the size of like a sandwich bag?
I mean, that's possible.
Generally speaking, most often, are they the size of a sandwich bag?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, no further questions.
All right, redirect.
No question.
All right, very good. You're free to step down. Thank you. All right, any other witnesses?
Defense would like to call Dr. Casey Burke.
All right.
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, have a seat, please. All right, the witness is with the defense.
Please state your name and occupation.
I'm Dr. Casey Burke, and I retired 3 years ago as the assistant coroner at Spring County Coroner's Office.
Okay, and what was your education?
I got my bachelor's from University of California, San Diego, and then I got my medical degree in forensic pathology from Ohio State University Medical School.
Okay, can you please describe your experience and your past in the medical field?
Besides being a coroner, I taught seminar courses, I've published 9 articles in professional journals, and I've also written a book that became a standard introductory text.
Okay, thank you. So you'd say you're pretty well known in the medical field. All right. And what do you know about Jason Johnson's heart condition? Can you explain that, please?
He had hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, and that causes the left ventricle to thicken, and that makes blood flow to the aorta more difficult and can cause arrhythmias.
Okay, and you mentioned in your witness statement that that condition in Jason Johnson was advanced, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And he was scheduled for a procedure to repair that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And could you say that alcohol would exacerbate his heart condition?
Yes, alcohol can decrease blood volume, and that can decrease heart function and trigger electrical impulses.
Okay, and these side effects, could this lead to death?
Yes.
Okay. And what amount of Adderall was found in Jason Johnson's system?
It was 40 milligrams, and that's within the range of an average prescription of Adderall.
Okay. And so in your professional opinion, could Jason Johnson have died from alcohol consumption alone?
Yes.
Okay, no further questions.
All right, cross-exam?
While it's true that Jason had Adderall in his system, you argue that the concentration found is within the normal range of a daily prescription and is not suggestive of amphetamine abuse, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is it possible that even within prescribed limits, Adderall can still pose risks, especially to individuals with pre-existing heart conditions like Jason's?
It's possible.
It's possible. Earlier in this trial, we heard testimony from Dr. Ricky Sanchez, the chief medical examiner at Rosewood County. He testified that the mechanism of Jason's death was cardiac arrhythmia, which led to the sudden cardiac arrest. Would you agree with Dr. Sanchez's assessment?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Sanchez also mentioned that Jason had, severe case of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. You agree with, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Considering this, is it not plausible that even a small amount of Adderall in Jason's system could have contributed to his cardiac arrhythmias?
It's possible, but not likely.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, redirect.
No further questions.
All right, thank you. You can step down. All right, any other evidence from the,
Yeah, the defense would like to call Avery Perkins to the stand.
all right.
Okay, could you please state your name and occupation for the record?
My name is Avery Perkins, and I'm the band director at Rosewood High.
Okay, so how long have you been the band director at Rosewood High School?
10 years.
Do you enjoy your job?
Yes, but I feel like I get only a third of what the others receive in funding, so.
Okay, so you would say that maybe your program is looked down upon by the school?
I think somewhat, yes.
Okay. And did you know there was a drug problem on campus at Rosewood High School?
Yes, I was aware. Principal McAllister informed me, but I noticed that Principal McAllister only really talked to the band students.
Okay. So did you ever suspect Ray Concha to be a drug user?
No.
And what kind of student would you say that Ray Concha was?
Very reliable. She always turned her stuff on time. Just seemed to really care about the program, and which is why I also chose her for the drummer position.
Okay, and who was the other student that was being considered for that position?
That would be Alex Weaver.
Okay, and do you feel that may have caused any tension between Alex and Ray?
I do believe that Alex was very disappointed, but I thought it might make Alex want to work a little bit harder.
Okay, so what kind of student would you say that Alex was?
Not very reliable. Alex did ask to be excused from the class a lot to go to the nurse's office and the bathroom.
Okay, so did you ever think that Alex may have been under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
I do think so, yes.
Okay, what circumstances or what could have led you to believe that?
Just wasn't a very reliable student, and then when Alex transferred, Jason also started slacking off. Just
Okay.
stopped turning in assignments and that kind of thing.
So what kind of student would you say Jason was?
Before Alex came, I would say Jason was fairly reliable.
Okay. Did you ever notice Alex carrying a backpack?
Yes,
What color was that backpack?
blue.
In your witness statement, you mentioned that you saw Alex carrying a large amount of cash.
Yes.
Okay, could you take a look at Exhibit A, please? Well, A and B.
Do you wish to approach so you can question her about it?
Okay. So in those two pictures, you see there's two different pictures of the same large amount of cash. Would you say that that could have been the same cash that you saw with Alex Weaver in class?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe the events of March 27th, please?
On March 27th, we were about halfway through band practice when I noticed that Jason started to look very pale, short of breath. That was when he collapsed. I went over to check to see if he was still breathing, and he was. So I called 911 and notified Principal McAllister, and I was later informed that he died en route to the hospital.
Okay. Did you notice any strange or unusual reaction from any other students in the classroom?
I mean, not particularly. I mean, they were all shocked, as I was.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, cross-exam.
Ms. Perkins, as the band director, your interactions with students are primarily limited to the band setting, correct?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that you may not have extensive knowledge about the personal lives and behaviors of individual band members outside of school?
Yes, just as any teacher.
Okay. While you have observed Ray and Alex in the band setting, can you confirm whether you have any knowledge of their personal lives outside of band?
I can't recall.
Okay. You mentioned that Jason started slacking off, correct? And he became less enthusiastic. How can you be certain that this change in behavior was directly related to his friendship with Alex and not due to other factors?
I can't be, but it was around the same time that Alex came, so.
Okay. But you can't be sure. Okay. You mentioned Alex with Cash, correct? Did you ever report any incidents with Alex to the school authorities or take further action to address your concerns about Alex's behavior or potential involvement with illegal activities?
Not that I can recall at the moment, no.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, any other questions for this witness?
Yes. So, in your position as a teacher, would you say that Alex Weaver is a reliable person or student?
No.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, recross.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, very good. Thank you. You can step down. All right, any other witnesses for the state?
The defense
for the defendant.
Sorry. The defense would like to call Ray Concha to the stand.
All right, very well. Come up here, please, and be sworn.
Would you please state your name and the school which you attended for the record, please?
Ray Concha, and I'm a graduate from Rosewood High School.
Okay, so how long have you known Jason Johnson?
We've been really good friends since middle school.
And were you aware of Jason's heart condition?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And you do have a prescription for Adderall.
Yes, for my ADHD.
Does Jason Johnson have a prescription for Adderall?
No.
Have you ever sold Adderall to anyone?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever given Adderall to anyone?
No, I haven't.
Did you ever give Jason Adderall?
No.
Okay. How well do you know Alex Weaver?
I was introduced to him in 2002 through Jason.
Okay. And what is your opinion of the character of Alex Weaver?
He seemed very jealous, specifically when I got the position for drummer from the band program.
Okay, and has Alex Weaver ever asked you for Adderall?
Yes.
Can you describe those events?
I was coming out of the nurse's room, and Alex approached me and said that I should share some Addy with him.
Okay.
Later that day, I had approached my vehicle, and I noticed that someone had picked my lock, and I was missing a bottle of Adderall pills that I foolishly left in the glove compartment.
Okay. So you would say that Alex did portray some erratic behaviors?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that Alex had held something against you because she didn't get the position of lead drummer in the band?
Yes.
Okay. And what were your responsibilities as band director for Double Trouble?
I would keep track of T-shirt sales, CD sales, and overall business management.
Okay, would this be a reason for you to have the large amount of cash in the notebook in your car on the night that it was searched in the parking lot of the A-frame market?
Yes.
Okay. So that notebook would have a list of names and amounts owed for things that you sold for the band?
Yes.
Okay. And can you recount the events of February 16th?
February 16th, Jason had texted me to pick him up. When I pulled up, I saw Jason and Alex arguing. I believe it was about Jason not wanting or flaking out, and Alex was noticeably upset about it.
Okay, did Alex appear to be possibly under the influence of drugs or alcohol that night?
I'm sorry, can you restate the question?
Did Alex appear to be possibly under the influence of drugs or alcohol that night?
No.
Okay. Did Jason?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And can you please describe the events of February 22nd?
I was at the A Market buying bags for the food drive for the Achieve organization that I volunteer at.
Okay, and what do you do with that organization?
I organize donations and I peer counsel those who have been struggling with alcohol and substance abuse. I know the damages that it can cause to someone, so.
Okay. And then has Alex Weaver ever rode in your car?
Yes.
Okay. And when was that?
March 26th.
Can you describe what led up to that?
Yes. Alex had his drum kit in my car, and I was taking him home. Car ride was pretty silent, nothing unusual. I was really worried about Jason, though, because he just seemed very off that night. When I pulled up to the house, Alex got out. I didn't really see what was going on because he was the only one that got out, and grabbed his stuff, went to his house, and I didn't check in my rear luggage compartment to see if he had left anything or.
Okay. And did Alex have a similar bag to yours?
Yes.
Okay. And had anything happened to your bag that looked similar to that one?
I had lost mine a few days before at the school and never found it.
Okay, so is it possible that something could have been put in that bag that you didn't know of?
Yes.
All right. And did Alex leave anything in your car that night to your knowledge?
I was too worried about Jason, I'm not sure.
Okay. And then the morning after, did you see Jason Johnson?
Yes, I did.
Can you describe his behavior that morning?
I could smell alcohol in his breath. Seemed off again.
Okay. And when you were called out by the principal and saw your SUV tailgate open, what did you say?
I said, "Oh no," because I thought that somebody had broken into my car again.
Okay, and when you were asked by Officer Doty if the backpack was yours, what was your reaction to that?
Obviously not. The nylon cords weren't the same as mine, and it just looked different.
Okay, can you explain the difference between the cords?
Mine was blue and gray, or blue and black, and the cords on the backpack that was found were blue and gray.
Okay, I'd like to call your attention to Exhibit A and B, please. All right, and you did have a prescription for Adderall, correct?
Yes.
So would you ever store your Adderall in anything like those bags or like these generic bottles?
No, I always kept them in bottles, not
Okay.
bags.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, cross-exam.
Okay. You mentioned relying on the color of the nylon cords to determine that the backpack was not yours, correct?
Mm-hmm.
However, did you ever thoroughly inspect the contents of the backpack to see if anything else inside could provide additional evidence or identification?
No, I had lost mine before at the school though, so I knew that this backpack wasn't mine.
Did you check for any personal belongings, documents, or other items that could be linked to someone else?
No.
Okay. You claim your backpack was lost prior to the incident. Can you provide any evidence or witnesses to support your claim that your backpack was missing and not in possession during the relevant time?
Can you restate the question? Sorry.
Can you provide any evidence or support your claim that your backpack was missing during the relevant time?
No.
Okay. The night of February 22nd, you were purchasing the bags at the A-frame mark, correct?
Yes.
And these bags were intended for the takeout day event?
Yes.
Can you explain why on that specific day you chose to buy plastic bags that are commonly associated with packaging drugs?
Usually we would hand out snacks to the families that would come at Achieve, and I had noticed that we were running low, so the person I am, I try and help out whenever I can, so I decided to buy the bags and help out.
Can you explain why 4 or 5 of the large boxes were the size of sandwich bags?
No.
Okay. Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, redirect. All right, thank you. You can step down. All right, any other evidence from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very well. All right, well, now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the time has come for the state and the defendant to make their closing arguments. And so at this point, I'm going to allow them to do that. Remember, they're just arguments. They're their contentions. The defendant presented evidence, so the state can open and have a final closing argument. Do you wish to open and close, or do you just wish to close?
I just wish to close, Your Honor.
All right, I'll hear then from the defendant.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'd like for you first of all to notice that Ray Concha has an outstanding character, as you heard from several different witnesses. One of the ladies that she helps with in an organization where she actually gives back to her community and dedicates her time and her money, as you saw when she went to buy the bags, to that organization, helping out in her community. I'd also like for you to notice that she has a prescription for Adderall, and she testified that she would never give that or sell that to anyone. She knows of her friend's Jason Johnson's condition, so she would not jeopardize his life by doing that. And as you can see from the testimony of the doctor, that his heart condition could have been exacerbated by the consumption of alcohol, which was in his system at the time of his death, and that Ray Concha did not have any malicious intent for selling him Adderall. She didn't sell him Adderall, so thank you.
All right, very good. All right. The state wish to be heard?
I have a brief closing remark.
All right, very good. You'll stand, you can address the jury.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Sorry, I got lost for a second. We stand before you to present our closing arguments, encapsulating and compelling evidence and testimonies that have been brought forth throughout this trial. We urge you to consider the inconsistencies and discrepancies within the defendant's witnesses' statements and the weight of the evidence that supports the prosecution's case. Let's begin by addressing the testimony of Ray Concha, the defendant in this case. Ray claims that the bag in the back of the car was not theirs, despite witnesses, including Alex Weaver, identifying it as the same bag Ray always carried. This blatant denial raises serious questions about Ray's credibility and honesty. Flip my page. Dale Piper, a witness for the defense, attempted to vouch for Ray's character, portraying them as a caring and thoughtful individual. However, we must question the reliability of Dale Piper's assessment. Can we truly rely on their perception of Ray's character, given that their involvement with Achieve does not provide a comprehensive understanding of Ray's behavior outside of that setting? Moreover, Principal McAllister and Officer Robin Doherty provided compelling testimonies regarding their concerns about drug abuse within the marching band. Principal McAllister's proactive approach in seeking assistance from Officer Doherty for an undercover operation demonstrates his commitment to ensuring the safety and well-being of the students. Their joint efforts uncovered the truth, leading to the discovery of suspicious behavior and the eventual arrest of Ray Concha. Lastly, we cannot ignore the brave testimony of Alex Weaver, who witnessed Ray handing pills to Jason. Alex's account, supported by their previous knowledge of Ray's involvement with drugs, adds another layer of credibility to our case. Their willingness to come forward and disclose the truth, despite potential repercussions, speaks volume about their integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence and testimonies presented by our witnesses have illuminated the dark underbelly of drug activities within the marching band and the role that Ray Concha played in Jason's tragic demise. The defendant's witness, including Ray and Dale Piper, have presented questionable statements and inconsistencies that cast doubt on their credibility. As the prosecution, it is our duty to seek justice for Jason Johnson and ensure that the truth prevails. We implore you to carefully consider the evidence, testimonies, and the discrepancies within the defense's case. Let your judgment be guided by reason, logic, and the pursuit of truth. We trust that you will deliver a verdict that upholds justice and holds Ray Concha accountable for their actions. Thank you.
All right, very good. All right, Madam Bailiff, if you'll take the jury to the jury room. All right, now, does the state have any objections to the instructions I delivered to the jury?
No, Your Honor.
All right, does the defense have any objections to my instructions to the jury?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very good. All right, so at this time, we're going to await the jury and let them deliberate. Be at ease. You can talk among yourselves quietly, but otherwise remain of good behavior and in good order. Okay? All right, so the jury has returned. Did you elect a foreperson?
Yes.
And who is that? All right, if you'll stand up and give us your name, please.
I'm Stacy Craven.
All right, Madam Bailiff, if you'll receive the verdict and hand it to me. All right, very well. Now, if you'll take the verdict sheet and read it aloud, please. You, the bailiff, yes. Clerk.
On the first count, second-degree murder, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. On the second count, possession with intent to sell, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
All right, very good. Go hand that back to me. All right, so ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I need you to signify by raising your right hand if this is your true verdict, so say you all. Raise your right hand if that's your true verdict. All right, very good. All right, so that concludes our case. The defendant will be remanded into custody and await sentencing tomorrow. The rest of us will get to go home.
Sorry, Lon.